Hi guys, welcome to another cut tutorial. Here today. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna make like a pop art inspired cut now. And this sort of just came to me while I was looking at the Altenew vintage roller stamp set, and I thought like, what could I do with this? And like a lot of them do like this kind of tone on tone sort of effect to give the flowers more depth. But this time around, I want to do something a little bit different. I want to do like where colors are very contrasting. So here you see me, I have used the Spectrum Aqua gold watercolor markers, and I've just painted onto like a simple acrylic block, and I sprayed some water. Now this word of warning for the Spectrum Aqua colors: the colors tend to change a little bit when you use it with water, so you may want to test out to see how it is. Now in my opinion, I actually like this better for this project as opposed to say the distress markers. The distress markers take a little bit more water to kind of get it to be more diluted in its color. And because we're going to stamp on top of this background later on, you don't have like a background that's just too intense, which tends to happen with the distress markers. But of course you could use those and just watering down a little bit. And I think some people have done like a comparison video between the two, and one of the things you realize is that the color of the Spectrum Aquas are just generally more brighter, whereas the Tim Holtz marker are just a lot darker. Okay, so you see me here doing the same thing pretty much, and basically I'm just like using the paint and just paint like this flat background at the back. Now of course you could just use like cardstock that had similar color to do this, but one of the things that I've tried to experiment on the side is that they don't tend to do the stamping later on as well, and it doesn't really come out as well, I think. And because I'm using like a combination mostly dye inks, I thought it was important to kind of have a background that was sort of like muted, and where the background was quite be able to absorb, if you will, the dye color, so that the layerings of the different inks can happen over each other. So if you're going to use a cardstock that's already like in that color, then you might have some difficulty. Okay, so I did a little bit of snipping just so that you won't get bored of me coloring a plain background. As you can see, I really like the whole like kind of like washed effect like you get with watercolor, and that was kind of the background I'm going for. As you see in the final product later on, this effect is what really gives that whole pop art look a little bit more, I guess, live, if you will. And okay, here I'm getting out my Altenew stamps and getting out three colors, two in which are close to each other when they are stamped onto that background, and one which is a contrasting color. So here you have orange soda, and the other two colors I use is grape juice and deep sea from Lawn Fawn rather than the Hero Arts shadow ink, but they kind of like behave the same way, just like a different shade of color. Okay, and the thing is that you kind of have to experiment around with what you have, because you don't want your the largest first image that you're going to stamp down to be too dark. Otherwise, you just occlude the colors that the other two are going to introduce when you stamp it over. And because the color does change for the fact that there is a watercolor background, it will not be that true orange because of what's already at the background. It will still be somewhat orange, but it wouldn't take on that true orange that you would have had if you didn't have the background in the first place. So here I'm using like the grape juice to stamp over with the second layer of that Altenew building stamp. And I would say that the darker your color, the truer the color would be. So if you want to like experiment and see how it goes, then you might want to work from the lightest to the darkest, so that the most detailed aspects of the rose or the vintage rose, or whichever image that you're using as a kind of like a shadow building stamp sort of effect, you want to like have that as the most detailed to be most stark in contrast when you do when the image does come out. Okay, and so for the following rows, um, I'm gonna move on to stamp on that yellow part, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not gonna bore you with too much stampings on the way, because otherwise just see me then making a lot of stamps, which is actually the same step. I would, however, try to tell the colors that were involved in making this particular row. So this was made with all Hero Arts ink, pool, and you will see that with the first time that I stamp it, that the pool actually gives kind of this almost tealish green color because of the yellow background. But I would stamp it the second time so that I can get like a deeper pool color. And then the next two colors, which are close to each other, the contrasting color is the mid-tone red royal ink, shadow ink from Hero Arts, as well as the pale tomato. Okay, and you'll see me doing that stamp twice. So like the first time around, I get a more kind of like greenish off green sort of look, and the second time when I go around with it, just to give like a deeper color, you get color, and this you can actually achieve similar results stamping even on just a white background. That if you want a more intense version of the same color, you can just stamp twice over it. And that's a cool thing about using clear stamps. You actually know where you're gonna stamp, and which you can't really do that with like your rubber stamps. So there's kind of advantages and disadvantages to goes around. And same thing, I'm working from the lightest to the darkest. So after the pool it's a pale tomato, and after the pale tomato would be the red royal, which is the deepest red out of these three. Now we're gonna move my things aside and go for my third stamped image, and that's gonna be on like the purple background. So the three colors I'm going to use is Forever Green, Tide Pool, as well as I think it's called Lemon Yellow. And these three are Hero Arts shadow inks, mid-tone inks again. And this time around I'm doing leaves instead. Leaves because I think it helps to break like the image. Whereas the rows tend to be a little more circular, you want to have something that breaks out of that image. So I'm using Lemon Yellow to do like the leaves, the back, the very first layer of the leaf, and I'm gonna press it down a little bit because lemon yellow is gonna be quite light on it, but yet leaves enough of an impression. Now for the alternate stamp sets, this is the part which I thought it was a bit annoying, but the leaves weren't actually grouped together, so you have to kind of guess where the leaves are, because they're kind of like made to arrange in the leftover spots around the roses. So I mean, like, they're all kind of close by, but I had some difficulty like before that, so I actually had to experiment to see which are the ones that are supposed to go where. But that all of that was sorted out. So I'm not going to bore you and show you how I did every single one of them, but I just want to show one example of one of the leaves and how I did that multiple times for all 5 leaves that were on that branch, and just to show the effect of that singular leaf with this stamp set. I think this stamp set is absolutely brilliant. And when you just for that one leaf, you can see how much detail that this stamp actually introduces, and how much, for like, especially for this technique, you get a very deep contrast because of the way that the stems were cut and it was made. I thought this is an absolutely brilliant stamp set by Altany. So I'm not going to bore you with this, and I'm going to roll it forward till you see me get the images cut down and matted on some black cardstock. Okay, so now the things are all matted on black cardstock, and you can see I've actually intentionally cut it off like to kind of like part of the image. So it really does look like kind of like a pop-up gallery sort of look, that you have like your image all cut off at a slight angle. And later when I do the layering of the images over each other, the spaces in which I wouldn't exactly call them white space, but the white space around each of the pop-up image will be like layered over each other, so you get a more concentric sort of image at a card. Here I'm using a hello stamp. I think this is from Every Ale. I might be completely wrong, but I'm quite sure this is from Every Ale. And using my favorite VersaFine pigment ink, which is my favorite by far for doing sentiments because of how crisp the image comes out. And that's kind of important if you want to do like a sentiment, because you really don't want your sentiment to look like blotchy or anything. And yeah, so that you will see me do the hello. When I first did the arrangement of the cards, and I thought, no, this is probably like it'll be done. I was just gonna lay it all onto one another, and this is how it would be. But I felt that the card was a little bit plain. So you'll see the next step that I do to kind of like make the card, give the card a little bit more interest. Okay, so what I did instead was I took some black soot, distress stain. Just gonna like put some on my my glass slab there, and I took some water, and then just to dilute it a little bit to make it a little more watery, so that my next step is more possible. So I just picked up some water with the brush, and as you can see, it's diluting under the brush. And what I did was I flicked the colors onto the two corners in random places as well, sort of like to give like this, sort of like as if calligraphy black ink was spilled over the image. I thought this was kind of fitting, because if you look at the font of how that hello looks like, it really like leans toward that sort of look, as if it was written by calligraphy. But you know, I've been trying to learn calligraphy, but I'm not too successful at it yet. And so here I'm gonna go back to arrange the cards for just the final arranging, and then the card will be done. Okay, so here I'm gonna like basically put it on a white cardstock, which is a little bit smaller. Okay, so I'm kind of messed up like the last part of the video a little bit, so I'm just gonna show you the card. And so basically what I did was I did like a foam tape to pop up that white on white, and I did and the rest of the element just go right flat on, except for the yellow panel of where the rose is at. The yellow panel with the rose is actually put an additional foam adhesive. So here you see the card in its totality, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.